Today we have here Brother Ibiye Benson from Nigeria, Africa. This is a great opportunity to share what God's been doing with us here at our local church at Cloverdale Bible Way and the SFU students in Burnaby. And I think it's very special to have Ibiye here to tell us what God has been doing in his life.
Amen.
And how God got you here is a miracle.
Yes, a miracle.
And then how the message came by your way is a miracle.
It's a miracle.
So we'd love to hear your testimony, Brother Ibiye.
Yeah. Well, I'm from Nigeria. My name is Ibiye Clement Benson. I'm from Nigeria, born into a family of 8. My dad is a religious man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's an Anglican man. And he trained us that way. So he takes us to church,
All right.
teach us that, everything was done and patterned as an Anglican member. So he was this committed and dedicated, zealous man for God. He just loved the things of the church and all that. And so that way we were also taught how to love church and activities.
Right.
So growing up, I had my primary education in Nigeria, my secondary education in Nigeria.
Mm-hmm.
So due to my curiosity to know God, I never knew that I wanted God anyways, until a certain point in time in my life when my sister switched from Anglican
All right.
to a Pentecostal church because we are an Anglican family.
Mm-hmm.
And when she did the switch, she loved it and she invited me too, and I joined her. It was from there I began to see things in a different way. But then I still have my desires and taste for the world. There was nothing taking it away. I strove to be a Christian and I couldn't.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable. I try and I put in my best. I wanted to be a Christian.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to serve God with holiness and righteousness. But there was absolutely nothing in me that was holding me tight. And so it got to a point I got tired of everything.
Right.
And then I started living my life, and that was when I became so bad. I became so corrupt. I went into the world. And
How old were you about that time?
I was in my teenage, within my 17, 18 years. Okay. And during that time, I went back, I started playing gambling, and gambling was my big issue.
That's unbelievable.
It was my big issue. When I started playing this gambling, it was another source of making money for me because I steal from my parents to play this gambling. And I could remember the last time, one day I stole from my sister. I emptied her account. And when she came back home, she cried. She was just crying. And I felt bad. But I couldn't help myself.
Right.
I needed help.
Right.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
So I did so many detestable things. And at a point, I was noticed by some group of friends who were cultists. And they wanted me also to be a member of the group.
Okay.
So my name was mentioned. I don't know how it went. And so these guys started targeting me. They wanted me to be part of them. And they called me. One of them just came and told me that, you know what, this is the plan that's going on. You will be recruited to be a cultist. So when I discovered that, I just ran away. I escaped.
Right.
And that was how I was delivered.
What kind of cult was it?
It was just these young guys in school who just come together and form cults.
Okay.
Kind of support each other. Mm-hmm. And then from there, if they're going to steal, to kill, to do anything, you will back them up.
Okay.
You have to be there. If they're going out for any operation, you have to be there too. So I thought maybe then they saw that kind of characteristics in me. Yeah. So they were pushing for that. And when I noticed that, I escaped. I did escape. And after that time, I moved from where I was, where I went to, where all these things were happening. I went back home to my countryside. And so that was when I decided I was going to start a new life. Mm-hmm. So I started doing things in my own way. I started, struggling. And I said to myself, I don't want to do all these things again. I've tasted weed. I've tasted cigarette.
Sure.
I've done so many things. I had my girlfriend that time. We were so close. So all that times, I became fed up. I said I wanted a new life. So I started working. I started, I made all my plans that I was going to work, save some money, and then go to school. So all these plans were just going the way I wanted it. Right. Things were just happening that way. At the point, I was, okay, during that time, when I finished, when I made this decision and I started working and making some money for myself, I was saving some money. So I was intending to go to university.
Okay.
So when I'm done with university, I said I'm going to settle down and have my own family, and all those plans were made up. So during that, just within that process, I have bought the form to go to the university. I've done major things. That was when my brother told me about the scholarship.
How did he hear about it?
Yeah, it's a state government scholarship. It's something that the government is funded by government and private donors.
Okay.
So they just do it to Nigerian students in the province only. So they sponsor students to study abroad. Amazing. In economics, physics, basically engineering and all that, science and all that. So he informed me about the scholarship. He told me pick the form. I did. He said fill it and submit it. Just give it a try. So we know what in Nigeria is corruption. There's a lot of corruption in Nigeria, and it's known everywhere. And I was thinking it's another way of just wasting people's time. And these politicians, I was thinking, after all, if you finish filling the form, they will turn back and take only the people. So I had this thought going on in my mind. So I was so reluctant to take the form, but I did. When I took the form, I filled it and I handed it in. A couple of weeks ago, after some weeks, I was called on the phone that I'm scheduled to write a test. So we went, there were thousands of us, thousands. I think more than 20,000 that wrote.
Unbelievable.
Yes, so many.
20,000.
Yeah. So we went for it.
Yeah.
And they took, I think, is it 300 or 400? And I don't know, maybe it's just within that range. So my name actually came out. And I didn't know, like I couldn't, the whole process, okay, after we finished writing the test, there was time for screening. We did medical checkup, we did some oral interview and all of that. So I was going through all those processes. I never had any tough time. Things were just happening.
Marvelous.
So when I finished everything and I was told I'm going to travel abroad to study, I couldn't believe it. Because I was thinking, guy, you've got everything figured out. You've put everything in perspective. You've planned your life.
Right.
All of a sudden, something like this is coming your way. I don't even know what to say then. I was so excited. Every day I'll be dreaming and thinking of when will I leave Nigeria. And it got to a point, God helping me, we filled everything. They called us to fill a form. That is a form from the school. And the first school they gave me was a school in UK. It was one university in UK. So I filled the form, and I was excited that I was going to go to school in UK because I have my sisters there and I have some friends there too.
Okay.
Yeah. So after a while, about 2 months later, they called me and they told me I have been moved, I've been changed. My school has been changed from UK to a university in Canada, and I need to come and fill the form again. And I came back, and I was not excited because I was like, hey, I'm going to UK. UK is a place, things are happening. We've been hearing about UK, and I wanted to go there.
All right.
And then, being that I have a family member there, I was like, that is an easy way to blend into the system. So when I was told, you're no more going there, you're now going to Canada, I was like, what do I know in Canada? I was scared anyways, but
Did
I
you
was
know
still
where?
happy.
Did you know where Canada was?
I didn't know.
I
I never knew that a place like Canada existed. I never knew.
Incredible.
Incredible. So I filled the form, and then after I finished the form, and they told me the university I was going was one university in Nanaimo
Right.
and Vancouver Island University. So I didn't know where that was. So when I began to do some investigation, I knew that I discovered that they said it was a little community in Canada. I'm like, wow, why would these people take me to? In fact, I wasn't considering that,
Right.
because I knew that even a community in Canada is even better than some cities in Nigeria. So I was like, just get me there.
Yeah.
Just get
Okay.
When I get there, I'll figure things out. So I arrived Canada on the 8th, I think on the 8th or 9th of July 2010.
Mm.
So when I arrived, we went straight to Nanaimo. And then, things were so much awkward. I've never been on escalator before.
Okay.
That was my first time of being on escalator. And a lot of things,
new.
so everything new to me. And I was like, wow, this is, I was so mindful. Stepping on the escalator, I will be so careful that I don't just fall down. So I went to Nanaimo and I schooled in Nanaimo for 1 year. Now, during that 1 year, I had a rough life there too. It got to a point, after my first semester, the second semester, I did very well in my first semester. Mm-hmm. So and I was like, okay, I've made my parents proud. I've made my sponsor proud. So I can now live my life. So that was how I started clubbing in Nanaimo. Mm-hmm. I literally know all the clubs in downtown Nanaimo. And Fridays and Saturday were like happening days.
Right.
These days when we just go to club, chill out, hang out with girls and all that. Mm-hmm. So I did that, and it was my friend who introduced me to it, and so I joined and I kept on going. Mm-hmm. While I was there, I was attending one church, and it's a famous church in Canada. Mm-hmm. And this church, we go to this church, and all what they preach about, the focus is love. They talk about love, and there was nothing about Christ in them. So I could see, yeah.
Yeah. So you're clubbing and going to church.
Going to church then.
So is there a struggle going on in you? You're looking for
There
God?
wasn't any struggle there, because those people in that church, I will call that church now a graveyard, because there was no life in there. So we just go to church for fun. Let's sing song and just, all they talk about is love. God is love. God is this. God is that. But there was no life. So I was like, wow, this is nice. This is this. This is that. I didn't know it was all garbage. The pastor wore hats and came into the church and was like, and so I decided to apply to Victoria.